more exposed his arm and his shoulders now. I have a lot more real estate to work with here. Alright? So fundamentally, when I start to attack that far arm here, I'm looking for my cross side stuff. I'm pulling him onto his side. Alright? How am I going about doing that? So if I'm here in this position, right? I just worked here, I got my hands locked up, I'm in this position. My underhook hand is going to suck up on that tricep. I'm going to put my elbow into his sternum. Alright, so I'm in this position right here. Alright? At the same time here, I pull in and my hand comes over top of his head. Right? You can put a fist in the mat if you want. You can put a palm in that mat so you can see like I'm holding his head in. And I'm gripping at that tricep, so guys you can grip at the shoulder here, depending on position, and I'm here in this position here. A lot of times, guys, I take my head and I pull it in there too to help lock that in there a little bit. Okay? So again, I'm here, boom, I suck this in to this position right here. Right? A lot of times I'll pull down and then I clamp. From here, guys, what I look to do, my head, my leg that's closest to the head, is going to take a big step up and around. Alright? So I'm not just stepping here, I'm stepping all the way to like touch his back shoulder here. Boom. Into this position here. Alright? Almost where I'm sitting on his head. What I want is I want my groin to be sitting on his shoulder here. So a lot of times guys get through this and like they try to do this armbar and they're like this. Too much space. I'm going to lose that every single time. And it's actually going to be harder for me to try more of this guy here. Alright? I want to keep this big here. The other thing too that helps me is as I suck this in, my head's up. I block here. Take this big step up. And I'm going to rotate around that arm. Alright? So my foot now goes from here. I'm being nice to Tom right now, keeping my weight off of him here. It goes from here, and my shin drives across his rib cage and up into the armpit. The top of my foot is on Tom's back. Alright? I'm in here nice and tight. My leg that's on the mat draws in. I will rest my hand on his hip or on his leg, and the knee, I'll grab hold of that knee. And now I look to fall back. Alright, I'm in this nice tight position here. I extend the hips. And I look for that break. As I fall back, I'm keeping nice and tight. Right, you see how his back just had to go off that mat here. Now, that like right there helps guarantee that I don't have to like break that up like trying to get that submission. Don't get me wrong, I would do that if I have to. But in that scenario here, like the last thing I want to do is try to go for full extension and like fully put myself fully extend my own body before I get that arm fully extended. Because in the scenario that I'm fully extended and that guy's arm's not fully extended here, now I gotta try to pull that arm and try to suck it out. So a lot of us are down here right now. It's good because we're looking to smash, we can bend his arm. Okay? I want to be like, so I'm here, boom, when I draw this in here. Like, look how high my head is here. What I'm doing is I'm gripping on that, roughly around that like top of the tricep, and I'm pulling this in here. When my head's up, I have a proud shoulder. You can see my shoulder is starting to cause him to lock out of the elbow. My grip on the tricep is starting to extend out the shoulder, like extend out the shoulder bone. General rules of submission, not always the case, but generally speaking, if I can control two joints, I can get a submission, or I can control the limb at that point. Not always the case, but not always like for every submission to have to be, but generally speaking, that allows me to do so. Alright? So I'm here, boom. Proud chest up. I still have that elbow. more like the point of my bony ass elbow in his rib cage. Right? And that doesn't feel good. Like even if I like just poke Tom in the rib, right? He's like, I don't like that. Alright? So I'm here, boom, I pull this in, crouch chest. Now, like I said, I can either keep my hand on the head if I want, or I can land here. And now I take that big step up. Right? So I'm taking, like that's the other kind of point here that notice you're not just coming here, trying to come through. It's a big step up, and then I pivot around. I pivot so much, like I'm almost facing towards his head. My body's not facing towards his head. But like, I rotate through on it. Sorry, so, like, because if I'm here, if I fall back this way, Tom's halfway to hit my understand right now. But, if I fall slightly, if I fall more perpendicular or closer to his legs, he's got a lot more room to go. Right? He's got a lot, yeah. By that point, I can look for that submission. You guys too that are struggling a little bit with the submission here, a couple different things. One, as for base level, I want his thumb up in the air. So if you're like here, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Look where his thumb's at. Take that thumb, grip over that wrist, grip, turn that thumb up in the air. Now I have the extension. Right? There's even some basic arm bars, you actually grab a hold of the thumb, like, yeah. Alright, so I'm here, getting into this position here, guys, right? The other thing is just like, if I find like my head, my legs here, my legs way over here, whatever, I'm drawing, I try to get over this head, I'm drawing this in my body. You'll notice like the same thing too, and as I do that, a lot of times when I draw this in, I pull his arm in too. I want that, just like a hammer and nail, and I'm pulling nails with the claw of a hammer, I want to get that, like I want to get the head of the nail way in that claw, because now I'm going to have the best leverage. Alright? Same thing, like, if I get here and there's this space when I fall back, and I land and I have this gap here, instead of like trying to like pull through and go through, what I'm going to do is I grab hold of those arms here, I lift and I sit up. Instead of trying to go pulling that down here, you're in this fight, you're like, here, suck it up, now I fall back. Alright, and I keep it nice and tight there. Alright? And so a couple things to help us get that good and tight here, guys, on that armbar finish. And this is like, Jiu-Jitsu can be really, really funny because you learn something one way and you like start to miss the forests, like forest through the trees. There's that type of scenario here, and you're like, oh yeah, you're like, I can always get the step over armbar, so I'm always going to step over the head and circle through. Like, probably 3-4 years ago, there was like John Machado posted a video of hitting the cross-side armbar the other way, and it was one of those like, in 10 years of doing jiu-jitsu at that point, how did I never think to go that way? How did I never think to do it? But it is, can kind of come from two different scenarios here. I can still have it from having this control here. Honestly, it gets a little bit easier now if this guy starts to bend his arm a little bit too. Or like, if I'm here and this guy fights his arm across this way, I can finish this way as well. But again here, so what I'm gonna do is, same thing, I'm coming up over the side, I block his head. Now what I'm gonna do is, instead of going this way and around, this leg here is going to step over and rotate back the other way. Again, I can take this same scenario here, pull here, lock, step, and around. Basically, yeah, like it becomes very close to like almost like a knee touch. So here, boom, I set this up here, and as I rotate through, I switch it off. Or like to be laying here, that's fine as well too.